Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Bebe Means Business Show once again. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, I'm Bebe Clement. I'm your host of the show, and on this show, the Bebe Means Business Show, we talk about anything and everything to do with business. It is my job to try to educate, to give information, to help you with anything that you need to be successful in business and to become financially free. We also talk about wealth creation because we're thinking about wealth creation in generational terms. So how you can pass on your wealth, build that wealth, and pass it on to your children's children. So like I said, I'm Bebe Clement, and I'm also the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, which you can see at the bottom of your screen. And you can purchase that book if you'd like to from Amazon for $12.99. You can also go to my website, which is www.bbclement.com, and you can purchase it there as well. And for all my listeners, my wonderful listeners who want to purchase it from this show, then I will sell it for £10 on the show. So you just need to pass your details to my producer and get all the information about postage and everything. Okay. I also run a group of small companies. People ask me, how are you involved in business? I run a group of small companies that range from a different number of industries, law firm, an HR consultancy, on a magazine called Law Digest, and a host of other things. So that's how I'm involved in business. For those of you who write in and you ask me, that's what I do. Okay, so today I'm going to ask that you very quickly take a moment and connect with me online. My Twitter handle is @Bebe Clement. That's @Bebe Clement. And if you are more into Instagram, it is Bebe_Clement. And LinkedIn, just type in my name and I will definitely come up. But it's good that we stay connected because I'm always putting stuff out there that will help you in your entrepreneurial journey. And I like to hear feedback from you as to how the program has helped you and how it has moved you forward in your entrepreneurial endeavors. Okay, now today we're talking about how to find more customers. Now I've done this topic before in another format, but at the end of the day, no customers, no business. So I really wanted to revisit this, and I did some market research during the week about the kind of topics that people want to hear about, and this came out on tops. People want to find out, how do we get more customers? Now, in today's marketplace, we have all these social media gurus making a killing, really, telling us how we have to have a strong social media presence, and if we don't have a strong social media presence, we're not going to do well in business, explaining to us how we have to be posting multiple times on multiple platforms, several times a day if possible, how you only have 30 seconds to grab people's attention and you only have 3 minutes to keep or maintain that attention. You got pay-per-click out there, you got FB marketing. It's overwhelming, to be honest. It's really overwhelming. It's expensive, it's time-consuming, and it's overwhelming. Now, I don't want to knock social media because, of course, you need social media. And I'm very, very grateful for the advice and assistance that I get from the guys that advise me on my social media platforms. So I'm not trying to knock it at all, and I'm not trying to reduce the customers for those people in that industry. That's not my aim at all. But as far as I'm concerned, I think in comparison to the effort that it takes, much of what we do on social media, or at least to a degree, is overrated. At the end of the day, what we need to be looking at as entrepreneurs is not how many people liked my post or how many people commented on. You'd be amazed at what people comment on. I have people comment on, oh, I liked your nails. I've written an article that took me probably 3 hours to write, and people comment and say, oh, I like your nails, or you look amazing in that outfit. As much as I appreciate those comments, as an entrepreneur, you need to sit down and say at some point, why am I in business? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the point of me making all these posts and all these comments and all these articles online? And for me, and probably for you, the bottom line is this. The reason why I do what I do is, one, to serve my customers with what I'm offering, with my products and my services. I want to serve my customers to the best of my ability. And also, I want to make a profit from the service I offer. Guys, it sounds very modest, nice and modest when people say, oh, I just want to serve people. Yeah, that's great. But just serving people for the sake of serving people doesn't pay the mortgage. And at the end of the day, I'm a businesswoman. I am not a charity. I am a businesswoman, so I'm in it to make money as well, as I'm sure many of you are. But of course, having said that, like I said before, we do need social media marketing, and indeed other types of marketing, not just social media marketing. But some of the reasons why we need social media, and it's of course because of COVID, most people are now spending more and more time online, purchasing more and more online. So you can't ignore it, you can't sidestep it, it is important. So some of the reasons why we need it: one, you need to stay in the consciousness of both your clients, clients who are both real or existing clients and potential clients. You need to stay in their consciousness. You need to occupy that space in their mind such that when they think of or they have a need in an area that you operate in, your name is one of the first names that occurs to them. So you need to constantly stay in their consciousness. Another reason why you need to spend a lot of time on social media marketing is to create an awareness for what you do. Don't assume that people know what you do. You need to create an awareness for what you do. And there's no way you can do that without, constantly getting before your target audience and letting them know what you do. Then you need to educate people on certain topics. You do. For instance, one of the things that I do, my background is law, and I'm an employment law lawyer, so I still practice employment law sometimes. And sometimes there are cases that come up that have an impact on the general public. So for instance, during COVID, I was getting questions like, what is the legal position on having my staff vaccinated? Some of my clients were asking that. What's the legal position? Can I insist that my staff be vaccinated? If my staff refuse to be tested, what can I do? Those kind of things. So what is the legal position? So sometimes I make posts not because I'm looking to make money, but because I'm looking to educate or to update my clients. So those kind of things are important. But then also you want to use it to position yourself as the go-to person in your industry. At the end of the day, who are you going to give your business to? Some novice that you've never heard their name before, or someone that you constantly see online who is giving you information and tips and advice and answering questions or queries that they may have in relation to what you do that affects them. Who are you going to hire? It's a no-brainer. It's the person that you constantly see and you trust the information and the advice that they give you. So you need to position yourself as the go-to person in your industry. But there are other ways to look for clients. And one of my fears is that we have totally neglected those other ways and concentrated on just things like social media, pay-per-click, and all those kind of things, FB marketing and the rest. And at the end of the day, you need to analyze how much of this is converting. And what I mean by that, in relation to the number of likes I'm getting, in relation to the number of people who are signing up to my page online, how many of these people are actually buying my products and services? That's a question you need to ask yourself. So one of the, I don't want to say advantages, but one of the things that has happened because of Corona is we, as entrepreneurs, we have been forced to go back to basics, to look at things that we have previously thought or been told were antiquated, and nobody was doing that anymore. We've actually been forced to go back to those things and dust them off, perhaps put a new glaze on them in relation to marketing, and start again. For instance, they say that there was a massive increase, there's been a massive increase in the last 1 year in people reading their local newspaper. So putting adverts in local newspapers is now back in fashion, whereas 3 years ago that medium for advertising or for marketing was pretty much dead. Aside from certain industries like your local plumber, your local builder, those kind of people, it was pretty much dead. But now people are going back to things like that. So this afternoon, I just want to take a little time to remind, and it's really what I'm doing, reminding, because we know these things, but to remind us that there are other areas that we can look at, other medium or other media through which we can market our products and get new customers. How to get more customers. That's what we're looking at. How to increase that bottom line by getting more customers. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about simple, practical, but effective ways to get more customers. So the first one is the very obvious one, seemingly obvious, but very underutilized, and that is family and friends. Now, we often assume that family and friends know what we do. We assume that. And that's not always the case. And sometimes they forget what we do. So can I encourage you to go through your phone or go through your contact list, wherever that may be, and send a message to everyone on your contact list, telling them or reminding them what it is that you do. And you could do a little write-up. You could do a little write-up about your services. Don't do an epistle. Nobody has the time to be reading an epistle. Just a few words or a few sentences, preferably in bullet point methods. Just use bullet points because that's better than long sentences. Telling them what you do. And if you can add pictures of your products and services, of course, add pictures, because again, what you see visually is more attractive than what you see in handwriting. It's more attractive if you have accompanying pictures. So do that and send that to all your contacts, just to remind them what you do, and just tell them that that's what you're doing. You're just reminding them what you do, so that if they need anybody in that industry, you are available. Now, you can also ask for introductions. Ask those family members, those family and friends, to please forward your information to, let's say, 5 people on their contact list. Now, I specify the number for a reason, because if you just say to people, can you forward this to all your friends or all your contacts, people are often reluctant to do that. They don't want to be seen to clog up their contact list or sending them what might be perceived as unimportant information or trivia. So they're often reluctant to do that. But when you specify the number, first of all, it's not as onerous a task for them to do. And more importantly, they will give it more thought. In other words, they'll be more selective about who they give it to. And they'll be more likely to send it to people who actually need your services, rather than just a blanket text or email or whatever. Now that leads me to another important issue. People often use a blanket approach to their marketing. Oh, I'll just throw this out there and see how many people come back, or hopefully as many people as possible will come back, and surely will get me some customers. Now that's equivalent to what we call phishing. And you may get a few that way, but you would be a lot more effective if you were strategic about the way in which you approached it. The same thing happens in phishing. So you can go to the nearest river or the nearest canal near your house and just throw out your net and see what comes in. But it might be an idea that you actually do some research and find out, okay, this canal, does it actually have the type of fish that I want? So if you're wanting to catch mackerel and this canal only has catfish, then you're in the wrong fish pond to start off with. And that the same thing happens when we're looking for new customers. You need to be specific. So ask those family and friends, could they just forward to maybe 3 or 5 people that they think would need your services? Now this goes back to those of you who are just starting out in business. This is a good bit of advice for you. What you need to do when you're starting out in business is establish exactly who is your customer. In other words, who wants this product? And you really need to hone in on that. You really do, as much as possible. And when I say hone in, I mean you need to be specific. Now, I do some coaching and mentoring I only take on 5 customers a year because it's very time consuming. I don't have the time, but I do take on 5 mentees a year. As part of that mentorship, one of the things that I get them to do is to identify who their clients are. And I ask them to identify this down to a T. Who are your clients? So, for instance, I may ask them, are your clients male or female? Are your clients male or female? Now, I'm going to use this radio show as an example of what I mean. So, for instance, this radio show in particular appeals to men more than women. It appeals to men more than women. So I have no idea, no understanding as to why that is the case, but it does appeal to men more than women. So that helps me identify the kind of topics that I will be talking about. Because if I have 70% men, then I'm more likely to do topics that appeal to men. It may well be that there are actually more men in business. I don't know. But definitely, I have more men listen to this show than women. Okay, so then you need to ask, what age group want this product? What age group want this product? So again, looking at my business, looking at this radio show, I've discovered that the age group that listen to this show the most are 35 to 44. 35 to 44. So again, that helps me identify what topics to speak about. I've identified that demographic. What topics should I speak about that appeal to that age group? So you need to be doing the same. What sex are they? And what age group are they? This is kind of need to be looking at. What do they do? What do they do? So once you've identified that these are my customers, what exactly do those customers do? What exactly do those customers do? So these are the kind of things that you need to be looking at. What do my customers do? Now this is important. What are their interests? Their social financial bracket. For instance, okay, all right, I'm going to take a break right now, and then I will be back to continue as to how to identify your clients so that you know how to appeal to them and get more clients from that group. Let's take a break.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome back to the Bebe Means Business Show. I understand that just before the break, we had some problems with the connection. I hope that's been rectified now. But if we do have further problems, I'm just going to take a break so that I can reconnect, if that's okay. So just before the break, I was discussing how to identify your clients, and it's important that you hone down to specifics as to what your clients or your potential clients look like. And I was using this radio show as an example. One of the things that I've discovered from this radio show is that this show appeals more to men than to women. I usually have between 65 to 75% men listen to this show. So that informs me as an entrepreneur or the host of the show what I need to be speaking about. I need to be speaking about topics that connect with men. I'm not saying I'm ignoring women, but since it's mostly men, and I don't know why that is, perhaps there are more men in business, I don't know. But the topics that I will be informed by that information, and the topics I will choose will be topics that will appeal mostly to men. Also, as regards age, what kind of age group are you looking at? Again, looking at this radio show, it appeals mostly to men who are between the age of 35 to 44. So again, that has an impact. It has an impact on what I will discuss, the way I will discuss it, the examples that I will give, all those kind of things. Even the way I will be dressed will be informed by that statistic. And this is what you need to be doing. You need to be doing market research into who your clients are before you even start approaching them, who your clients are. And that information will show you how to market your products. What do your clients do, or your potential clients do? What are their interests? What's their social and financial bracket? For instance, are they middle class or are they working class? My target audience, of course, in relation to this show, are existing entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs. That's my target audience. This show is not for people who are just, sauntering through life. On the contrary, this program is for people who are up and doing and are serious about their business and just need as much help as possible to get to where they want to go. That's what this show is for. So those are the kind of people who listen in to this show. Again, that informs me as to how to market it. Not just how to market it, but where to market it. Because there's no point in sowing in this soil when the seed that you have, it will flourish in that soil. These kind of things are really, really important. What do your potential clients need? Again, don't assume to know what they need. I remember when I was starting a company many years ago, an HR consultancy. It was a bespoke HR and employment law consultancy. And part of my market research, I discovered that my potential clients, who were mostly employees and small business owners, those were my target audience, small business owners that couldn't afford city lawyers to give them advice about issues within their company, and didn't necessarily need the lawyers all the time. They just needed them on an ad hoc basis. And then employees. I discovered that most employees had the same working hours as the opening or the potential opening hours that I was considering for the business. Now, what does that tell me? That tells me that what my clients need or what my potential clients need, I was not going to be able to give it to them with the opening hours I had. My opening hours were 9 to 5, which is the time that most people are at work. So I changed the opening hours. So rather than do 9 to 5, I was doing, I think, about 11 to 7 or something like that. And then after that, I even extended the services such that I could go on site. So I could actually have some of my consultants go and visit the client at home, rather than them having to come to my office. So these are the kind of things that you need to be looking at. What do my clients or potential clients need? So ensure that you are able to provide it. Because if you can't provide their needs, they're going to go somewhere else, to somebody that can. What are their expectations? Again, you have to find out, what are your potential clients' expectations? So for instance, let's say you're an event planner and you plan children's parties. Now, if you're coming to somebody like me, when my kids were small and I hired an event planner for my children's parties, if I did, it would be fine for me, just hire the local McDonald's and just make it nice, have it decorated and we'll make it nice, or my backyard, just have it all decorated and everything like that, and arrange games, maybe arrange a clown or a magician or somebody like that and entertain the kids. That would have been fine for me and for my children. But if your target audience, if your potential customers are people like, I don't know if you've ever watched this program that they show in England called Meet the Russians. And this is the nouveau riche coming out of Russia, new money coming out of Russia, and they really rock life. They have ultra high standards and they want the very, very best. So if you are an event planner and you are hired to do a party for their children, or you want to tap into that market, there's no way you can go and be hiring the local McDonald's for those kind of people. You need to, they want a really exclusive venue, really. The more outrageous the venue, or the more unique the venue, the better. Even if little Tommy is just 3 and has no idea what's going on, they don't care. And then they want a theme. Maybe they want an Alice in Wonderland theme. They want ice castles. They want ballerinas. They want people on skates coming in and out, that kind of thing. And the gift bag, my children's gift bag, they had pencils and erasers and maybe a pack of crisps and a bottle of drink or something like that. All that is not going to work for high net worth people. That's not going to work. I remember a lady I know who had a 10th birthday for her child, and in the gift bag was an iPad for each child. There was an iPad. So again, you have to be clear about who are my customers, what kind of customer do I want to attract, and ensure that you can meet the need of that kind of customer. So those kind of expectations have to be met. Then you look at their prejudices, because whether you like it or not, we all have prejudices. We have conscious and unconscious biases, and those unconscious biases influence who we do business with. That's the truth. We may not like it, but that is the truth. So you can get hung up on the unfairness of it, or you can just accept that that's the way life is and adapt your product and your service to your target audience. So for instance, I co-own a particular business, and 80% of our clientele for that particular business are from a different ethnicity from myself. And I know for a certainty that if they knew that it was a black-owned company, they wouldn't hire me. I know that. And again, you can moan about the fairness or unfairness of that. I don't get caught up with such things. I just adapt accordingly. So on the website of that particular company, there is nobody from my ethnicity on it. That's the truth. So as far as I'm concerned, this is my target audience. This is what my target audience, these are the kind of prejudices they have or the biases they have. I'm going to cater for that. Now, I'm not asking that everybody have the same approach. You may feel differently. You may think, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it my way. That's fine. But if 80% of your clients have a particular bias or prejudice, then what's the point in taking some kind of stand on that matter and let 80% of your clientele go somewhere else? I'm not going to do that personally, but of course that's entirely up to you. So once you have established your demographic, and that's what we call it, once you have identified the kind of customers that you want or the kind of customers that are likely to patronize you, once you have established your demographic, then you need to get more customers or more business from the existing customers that you have. So you might be thinking, Bebe, so how do I do that? Well, you can start expanding the remit of the services that you offer them. Because, one of the things that we often do, and this is quite chronic in my community, one of the things that we do is we do the one-off business. And then we spend all our time and energy looking to recruit the next client. And that it's a complete waste of your time. And research actually shows that by way of energy, time, and money, it takes anything between 4 to 10 times more to recruit a new client than it would to offer more services to a happy existing client. So I would rather expend my energy ensuring that my existing clients are happy, and then expand the services that I can offer to them. Because at the end of the day, it's all about making money. So if client A, who is already my client, has more money in their pocket, then I'm going to do what I can to get more money out of them rather than spend my time and energy looking for a new client. So, for instance, if you were somebody who supplies snacks for party events, and you started out selling meat pie and stick meat, you might then consider expanding your offering to include something like Scotch eggs and cakes. Same clients, but a wider group of offering, which will make you more appealing. I just wanted to say, because I'm about to take a break, but just to say that this is a live show, for those of you who don't know, and it's an interactive program. So I want to hear your views on anything that I've said. Anything I've said that you don't agree with, that's fine. I'm a big girl, I can take it. And if you have any questions on this issue, then please get in touch. You can put them in the chat on Facebook. I understand that most of our listeners are watching us through Facebook. So you can put your questions or your comments on Facebook, and I'll read them out after the break. But also our Twitter handle is @Star Radio UK, or you can text or WhatsApp us on 07539 661 744. That's 07539 661 744. Or indeed, email us at info@starradiouk, or join us via Facebook, as I said, and you can put your comments in the chat. I'm going to take a very quick break right now, and I'll be back, and then I'm going to show you some innovative ways to get customers. You've got to start thinking outside the box. Innovative ways to get customer. Don't go away.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome back to the Bebe Means Business Show. For those of you who are just joining, I'm your host, Bebe Clement, and today we're talking about how to get more customers. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. No customers, no business. No customers, no business. So everything we do should be customer focused. How do I get customers? How do I keep them satisfied? How do I expand the services that I'm offering them? That's what it's about. So I want to give you a couple of stories, actually, little anecdotes that hopefully will get your creative juices flowing as to how you can get more customers. All right, so I'll tell you my own personal story, which I highlight in my book, How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur. When I was about to start the business I was speaking about prior to the break, which was my HR and stroke employment law consultancy, I didn't know how I was going to get customers. So I thought, okay, what I'll do is I will go to my local neighborhood and just walk into every company, every small company that I see, because that's what I was aiming at, small businesses. I wasn't looking to go to Canary Wharf for the big boys. I wanted the small customer, the small business owner. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a walk through my neighborhood and just walk through the door and let them know. Okay, we have a caller. Okay. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Would you like to tell us your name? Okay, I'll leave that to my producer to sort out. We did have a caller, but I don't know what's happened there, so I'll leave that for my producer to sort out. I'm sure he'll handle that and let me know. Okay, so I decided to do that, and then I one day I just got up and I started knocking on the doors of all these local companies. So when I went into the very first one, and I mean this, I'm not making this up. Okay, so caller, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Bebe Means Business Show. What is your name? Okay, unfortunately, I can't hear you. Can you tell me what your name is? Okay, I'm sorry, caller, but I'm going to have to ask that you perhaps put it in the chat or something, so I can get on with the program. I do apologize, but I for some reason I can't hear what the caller is saying. Okay, so like I was saying, the very first company that I knocked on their door, I was a company that did provided care workers to care homes. And I asked if I could see the MD, and they said, oh, yes, you can. We're very fortunate. She's not often on site, but she's on site this afternoon. They asked me what I wanted to do, and I told them. So she came out, and we were talking, and I just, told her what I could offer her. I could, help her write her staff contracts, do her policies and procedures, and all those kind of things. And as I was talking to this lady, she was laughing. So you can imagine, it took me a lot of courage to just cold call people, to just knock on their door and cold call. But she began to laugh. So after a while, she laughed so much, I was very self-conscious about it. So I said, why are you laughing? Is my pitch that funny? And she said, no, she said, you're never going to believe this. She said, just this morning, I was speaking to my manager and I was saying, now is the time, we've got to the stage now where we need help. I need help with advice with my staff because some issues are coming up that I can't deal with and I need some professional assistance. And here you are, offering that professional assistance. So, and I kid you not, that this is a true story. And so she signed me up. She said, okay, you know what? Let me tell you what my needs are, what I do, and then you need to go write me a proposal, come back tomorrow, send it to me, and I'll see whether I can hire you. So that's what I did. And it was really good because not only did she own that company, she actually owned a range of companies. She was doing very well. And she actually became my best client for the first, I think, 4 or 5 years of me starting that company. She became my best client. I made a lot of money out of that woman. So if I had not done that, if I've not taken the plunge and, come out of my comfort zone and gone to do that, then I wouldn't have been able to get her as a client. Not sure where we are with the lady or the person online who called in. Is there any other way in which she can contact us rather than this way? If my producer would kindly just get her details and then find out what her query is and then pass it to me, then I can answer the question. All right. Okay. So I just want to share another story about how a friend of mine, I love this story, how a friend of mine found clients. And there were two things that happened. The first one was he was about to start a magazine in Nigeria, and he had in his mind, and this is why it's important that you identify who your client is going to be. He had it in his mind that he wanted to have a business magazine for very high net worth individuals. That's what he wanted. So he identified his demographic, and that was who he was going after. The only problem was he didn't know any high net worth individual business people in Nigeria. So what he did as part of his market research, and again, this is why market research is very, very important. As part of his market research, he discovered that there was a particular social club that the kind of people that he was looking for were members of. It was a very exclusive social club. The membership fee ran into millions. And that's where most of the people that he was trying to hire, where they hung out. But he didn't know anybody there. So fortunately for him, he later discovered an old classmate who was a member of this club. And that one said, okay, you know what? I will try and get you an introduction into the club so you can come in as my guest. So that's what he did. So he went in as the guy's guest. And then what he did was he then made friends with a few of the bartenders. And then he actually put some of the bartenders on his payroll. Now their job was to take samples of the magazine and introduce it to the members. So typically the bartender would come over to, let's say it's me, come over to Bebe with my drink, and then very casually drop the magazine and say, oh, Bebe, have you seen this new magazine? I just thought it might be of interest to you. So I'm sitting there in the club, I'm not doing anything, so I might as well be flipping through this magazine. And then later he would come back and say, oh, did you have a look at the magazine? And I'd say, yes. What did you think? And he would then feed back the comments from these people. He would feed back those comments to my friend. And so my friend began to fashion that magazine based on the comments that he received. Based on the comments that he received, he began to fashion the magazine. So that, again, feeding into their expectations and feeding into what they need. So once he'd done that, once he had a magazine that he felt catered for the needs of that particular people group, then what would happen was he would ask the bartender would let them know that, oh, Bebe comes in maybe the first Friday of every month. So my friend would make sure that he's at that club the first Friday of every month. And he'd be sitting at the bar, and then the bartender would come over and say, oh, Bebe, you know that magazine you saw the other day? The editor and publisher is sitting at the bar. Should I ask him to come over and say hi? Why not? I like the magazine. So he would then come over and introduce himself. And that was how he got to know a group of very high net worth clients who then became his customers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I love that story because it's just so innovative. It's so out of the box, but so effective. It was so effective. And after a while, because, it's easier, sometimes it's easier to connect with these kind of people when they're sitting around and they're relaxed, rather than when you go to their office, because then it looks like work. But when you're just sitting around in a social club and you're just chatting, and you're not even necessarily talking business, you're just chatting, then they get to know you and they get to like you. And you remember, people buy from those they know, they like, and they trust. So these kind of things are really important. I really want you to take some time between now and the next show. I want you to take some time to sit down quietly somewhere and start thinking of innovative ways in which you can go about getting customers. It may well be, I was giving some advice to a lady yesterday on a mastermind group. For those of you who don't know, I run a couple of mastermind groups. If you'd like some information about that, just let me know. Drop me an email and I will give you some information about the mastermind group. But the mastermind group runs for 6 weeks, and it's for entrepreneurs who want assistance in solving practical problems in their business. And you get to hang out with other successful entrepreneurs. So one of the members of the mastermind group, I was telling her yesterday, she provides snacks for events. And I was saying to her, yes, it's great to get the one-off recommendation, but what you need is to get involved in your community. Get involved in your community. So particularly now during this period where, the whole Black Lives Matter thing, organizations and companies, they especially government agencies, they want to be seen to be inclusive. So this will be a good time for you to just ring up perhaps the HR section of your local authority and let them know that, okay, the next staff meeting, or some of them are preparing for the Christmas party since we're coming out of lockdown, and people are eager to have in-person events. For your next staff Christmas party, I can cater for you. And I told them, be willing to do it for free. You have to pay your price. Everybody has to pay a price in business. You can't. It's not all about making money. You have to pay the price. So I said, be willing to do it for free. But once they've tasted it, and you do it well, your presentation is great. That will open up a whole different client stream that you might not necessarily normally get, because oftentimes Caucasians don't buy our food, not because there's anything wrong with our food, but because they've never tried it. They've never tried it, so they don't know what it's like. Well, when they get an opportunity to try it, for instance, when we have parties and we have all our Caucasian friends come, they love jollof rice. Jollof rice is definitely a hit. They love jollof rice. They love the way we make the chicken and stuff like that. So oftentimes it's just a matter of they've never had an opportunity to try it. So you then have to go to them and provide that opportunity. Let's say it's your child's school. They're having a school fete, and you're a caterer. Make a cooler of jollof rice and set up a table and offer it to parents for free. Things like that. But you need to be innovative as to how to find new customers. Okay, I think we're nearly there now, so I'm probably going to leave it there. I did want to end with something, and this is quite important. One of the most effective ways for you to find new clients is to have existing happy clients do a testimonial for you, preferably a visual testimonial. They're even more effective. And put that visual testimonial on your website or put it on social media, because if I've hired you and I'm happy with what you've done, it will come across. It will definitely come across. I'll be excited, I'll be passionate, and it will come across. And people buy passion. They buy passion. So if you can get someone who you've served and is happy about the service they've received from you to do a video testimonial on your behalf, then by all means ask them to do that. Okay, I do apologize to the caller for not being able to take your call. For some reason, we're having some technical issues there and I wasn't able to hear you. But please pass your details on, and then hopefully if it was a question you wanted to ask, I can answer that question and send it out to you, or respond to it next week on next week's show. Okay, just to let you know that next week we're going to be talking about credit rating. What is your credit rating? What does a credit score mean? What's the point of checking your credit score? Who has access to your credit information? And is it affecting your ability to access financial benefits and credit cards and stuff like that? What happens if your credit score is wrong? How do you correct it? All these things are really, really important for you to know. So join me again this time next week, and I will give you the information that you need in relation to that. I'll have a special guest on the show who's going to be helping me with that, and you can get all the information that you want in relation to your credit score. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining me. Really appreciate you taking the time. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and I'll be here again next week. It's Bebe Clement. Stay safe and well, and always remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Everything that's happening. I mean, she's at the center of it. If war is coming, there is no hiding her from it.
I won't abandon Surrey.
We're witches.
Is that so?
You're richer than you think you are. Rent any boat, anytime, from 150 euros per day. Samboat. Holidays, but better. Download the app now or book on samboat.com.
From a fried chicken sandwich and coffee to beauty and retail.
iOrange is the brand new hydration drink developed with bold, thirst-quenching orange flavor to refresh and replenish. iOrange was created to fill the void where great taste meets functionality. With bold, thirst-quenching orange flavor to help you refresh, replenish, and refuel.